Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, super glad you're here today.
We are. Let us know where you're coming in from as you are joining us. Head over to the chat. We're thrilled to have you here. We meet every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time, and we've got such incredible people all over the world that use AttractWell. And today we're going to be showing you, no matter what kind of business you may have, how you can use psychology to build a very effective sales page. And I even have some prompts for you to use so you can really leverage this process into a sales page quickly. I'll show you a step-by-step demo on how you can perform all of these functions from inside of AttractWell. So yeah, looking forward to meeting you guys, getting to know you. And of course, if you have any questions or you would like to see anything again as we're getting into demos and talking about how this works today, feel free to ask away and let us know. We're thrilled to have you here again today, as always. So Greg and I are going to pop out a video and start getting into the slide content that we've prepared for you here today. And as promised, this is all about sales page psychology. We're going to be talking about how to build pages that convert from a perspective that is going to get you better outcomes. I think in a lot of cases where we start thinking about what we need, we start thinking visual first. And that is really where a lot of us get trapped. Then we get stuck in wanting it to behave in terms of design in a particular way. And if we don't actually approach our sales page in the right order, we actually are just creating an uphill battle for ourselves. And we could very well wind up with something that doesn't even do what we wanted it to do in the first place. So I promise here today to show you the path to efficacy, and then of course show you how you can actually get it all done. So we're going to talk about why a sales page really is just a sales conversation on paper. We'll talk about the psychology of how people make buying decisions, the framework for building any sales page section by section, and how to anticipate objections and answer them with your copy. We'll talk about steps to take your draft from outline to published paged as well. We'll go do all of this in AttractWell today. And of course, as always, we will get into some live help and Q&A. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask away while we're here live on the call. If you have questions or you'd like to just join us in the future and you're watching this as a replay, go to attractwell.com/office hours. These are free sessions. You don't have to be an AttractWell member to access them, but you can use this as a way to get to know us a little better before you decide to migrate over to use us for all of your business needs. If you want to work together live, that's an opportunity as well. There's a numerous ways for you to be able to connect with our team and get the help that you're looking for. This is one of them. Every single week, we provide space for you to book time on a call just like this one, where we can dedicate the second half of our call to solving problems with a couple of members of our community. So you can take advantage of that here. You can go to attractwell.com/concierge if you would like to hand over your dream and your vision for your website, your project, your migration, and you'd like to have our team do it for you. You've got that option there as well. All right, let's get into the psychology of sales. At the end of the day, a sale is always the product of a conversation. Now, that may be a conversation that you are present for, but in a lot of cases, it is a conversation that you have anticipated and that you have laid out on a tool such as a sales page. So what this is essentially a guided conversation, which might sound weird to you if in putting it this way. But basically what we're doing is we're interacting with the voice in their head when they're reading what you're writing, right? So what we're doing is you're presenting, then pausing, then answering what they're wondering next, right? And when you anticipate the questions that they have or the things that they would want to know after you share a piece of information, we're able to really show up effectively, building trust, and objections fade away because what we're doing is we're really just kind of following the logical progression of what's coming up for them as they are taking in this information. So before you get started with this process, I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. First and foremost, make sure that your offer is clearly outlined. Who is your offer for, right? What is it that you're selling? Who is the audience for it? What's in it for them in words that they understand? And what is the outcome for them in words that they understand? If we don't go in with clarity and detail to this end, then we are working uphill backwards to create a sales page, right? So what we're going to do, excuse me, sorry, is we're going to break this down into a linear journey of phases and steps. And for each phase and step of our offer, what's covered? What's in it for them? What's the outcome? Imagine what you're doing is you're pitching a trek, a journey to someone. And we want to let them know that there are milestones along the way, right? And because quite often, if you're selling information or you're selling your services, you're selling work with you, there is an amount of what you're selling that requires them to do work, right? In a lot of cases. So we have to get a buy-in for their effort, not just for whatever it is that you are providing, right? So we want to make sure that we've got some real clarity on this. And so what I want you to do is outline in this way. And then once you have this outline, I want you to add these along with your program name into AI settings. Now, if right now you are spinning and wondering what on earth is Ashley talking about, let me show you two things. Number one, inside of AttractWell, you have the ability from right here in your dashboard to customize your Write with AI that shows up everywhere in AttractWell. So in AttractWell, you can click Write with AI right here and say whatever you want to say, right? You can ask it to do anything for you, but it's going to come up with something fairly generic unless you write a really detailed prompt or unless you go over here to your settings and add a bunch of information here about yourself, such as who you help, how you help them, what your lead generating offer is, what your paid offer is, such as the one that we'll be selling, we'll be talking about here today, your sales flow and how it works so that it understands your strategy, your content strategy, maybe formatting preferences. I do this for HTML for blog posts and for emails, which actually provides me with just copy paste code that makes for very quick blog and email creation. I even have some prompts here for how I want it to write social posts. Here's my warmth and practical tone to use in the way that you write, calls to action that I often use with links, right? So there's a lot of great stuff you could put in here. I want you to put an outline of your program here. Now, if you don't have a detailed outline of your program, like I am describing, you can actually get access to a lesson that teaches you how to do this and how to set up an entire funnel that sells your offer on autopilot over here in the Client Funnel Challenge. If you are an AttractWell member, you can go to the Success Academy to online resources and courses, head to the Client Funnel Challenge, and you will get the step-by-step for everything that you need to know. And this particular lesson that I want to draw your attention to, that's going to find you everything that you need, is actually in the very first module where you need to outline your offer. In order for you to successfully sell what it is that you're selling, you need to know it intimately. And not the way that you think you need to know it, because obviously you know it because you made it, right? You know it because you possess the expertise that allowed you to make it. But what most of us are missing to at least some extent is the translation of the value of what we're offering into language that matters to the person you're selling it to. And so outline your offer here will actually take you to a about a 10-minute video where I talk about how to follow this process. And I have an example for you as well for this program that I use throughout the Client Funnel Challenge that you actually see come to life throughout. So what I'm actually going to do is come down here and take the one that I created, and I'm going to grab it. And I'm going to be copying this and pasting it into my Write with AI. But essentially, and just save us time, I have actually already done this and have some pre-made copy prepared. But what you're going to want to do is to take your resulting offer outline and paste it into your AI settings so that it knows exactly what the offer is and how to position it, how to pitch it when you ask for, say, an opening section of a sales page or a section that addresses objections, right? If you take your offer outline and you plug that into your Write with AI, you're going to get fantastic copy for your sales page. So essentially what this offer outline looks like is we have a narrative for each phase and each step. So I've got a phase one, here's what we do here, here's what our topic is, and here's what you get by completing it, right? The outcome. And I repeat that for the steps. So here's our step, what we're doing, here's the narrative, the topic, the outcome, and I'm doing that throughout. And again, you can learn how to do this in the Client Funnel Challenge, or you can, more or less outline what the outcomes are for each phase or step. Or thing that your offer covers so that you can put that into Write with AI in your AI settings in AttractWell. And again, this is just something that I recommend that you do to save yourself a ton of time and headache and to make sure that the copy that's being created is truly congruent with the offer that you're making. All right. Now, let's get into the actual sections of this sales page, right? So the very first section, the above the fold section, the first thing that you see when you open the page is the hook. This is a section that should have very little text and it should grab attention right away, right? So this headline is going to capture attention. It's going to name the problem that they have or the desire that they have that this program or offer delivers or solves, right? The subheading is going to promise the outcome or benefit. And the first lines here are going to establish empathy and connection. Okay, now I have a prompt prepared for you, and Greg actually just shared the link to this little cheat sheet here that you could use. And I actually included, before you get started with this, what you need to do with your AI settings. So just so you know, that's there. But the prompt here that I want you to use is to write three variations of a headline and subheadline for a sales page. The offer is blank. Now, if you have named your offer in your AI settings, it's going to go right to it and know what you're talking about. The audience is, this may be something that's covered in your AI settings as well. And we'll say focus on grabbing attention and promising the outcome they want most. Now, the way that this process is going to work, and I'll actually show you a live document that I have here that I am actively going to be building from. I've actually gone through the process and added the actual prompts that AI provided to me here. And I want you to do the same. I'm going to go through these with you so that you understand what's happening in each section of this page, so that you can see what's what. We'll talk a little bit about the prompt, but I've got the actual product of these prompts here. But let me go ahead and just show you exactly how you could prompt for this in AttractWell. All right, so here I have my prompt to write three variations of a headline and subheading for my sales page. Actually, before I do anything else, let me just go over here and copy and paste so you can see um, something a bit more accurate. So I'm just going to drag this down. So I've got all of it. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go over to my AI settings and I'm going to change this up here. And this is called the Vital Energy Reset. I'm going to paste that information here. So that's all here. Um, I will say program outline follows. There we go. So I'm going to save these changes. And now I'm going to come over here and grab my prompt. I'm going to copy this, go over to my AttractWell dashboard here. I'm going to paste in that prompt and I'm going to name it the Vital Energy Reset. And my audience are new moms. Let's see, new moms looking to rebuild their energy and confidence after birth. So I'm going to copy that. Let me come back over here. And I will paste that right in here. All right, so I'm going to click write. And I'm going to see it come up with three variations with a headline and subheading for my sales page. So here we go. Reignite your vitality, reclaim energy and confidence after birth, revolutionize your recovery with our tailored program designed to banish fatigue and empower you to feel unstoppable. Your journey back to vibrance and strength starts here. So you see how when we put this in our AI settings, we prompt it this way, we have got a few actually pretty solid options to put at the top of our sales page. Now, we're not going to be going to build the sales page yet. And this is a really important point, right? Your copy is key. We don't need to go and start designing first. We need to make sure that what we have to say effectively sells first, right? And so we're going to follow these steps and get all of our copy compiled, and then we can go in and create a page that supports the copy, right? Design is scaffolding for the copy, and the copy is the thing that makes it all work, all right? So what I want you to do is, as we're going through this process, or as you're following along with that document that I've provided to you with the prompts, I want you to collect all of the responses that you like, the copy that you want to use into a single document, and just make sure that they are labeled so you're clear that these are separate sections. All right. So the second section, right, the problem section, we've just hooked them. They have just seen that this is for them. But now they're questioning, wait, but is this for me? What about my this or that, right? They're questioning this. So here is where we have the opportunity to show them that we understand their frustration or challenge. Here we're going to describe the impact of the problem in their life or business, right? So we're talking about the greater implications of the issues that they're facing, and we're going to help them feel seen before we start really pitching the solution, right? So the prompt for this is as follows. We're going to, the purpose here is to show empathy and help them feel seen. The prompt here is to write a short section for a sales page that describes the main problem my audience faces. The offer is blank, the audience is blank. Write with empathy, showing you understand their frustration. So, what I have, just to recap here, to show you where this conversation is going. We've started with reclaim your spark, gentle support to help new moms rebuild energy, confidence, and strength after birth. Motherhood changes everything, including how you feel in your own body. If you're tired of pushing through fatigue, feeling out of sync with yourself, or wishing you'd had just a little more energy to enjoy these years, this is for you. Now we get to the problem. That's our section 2, where we are now. Those first 2 years after birth can be a blur between sleepless nights, constant demands, and the weight of trying to do it all. It's easy to lose touch with how strong, capable, and confident you really are. Maybe you've tried quick fixes, but nothing seems to stick. Maybe you've thought, I'll just wait until things calm down. But in the meantime, exhaustion lingers, routines feel impossible, and you end up putting yourself last. See how we're empathizing and we're digging deeper, right? So we know all the things that our program does. We have yet to tell them explicitly what those things are that we're doing. We have told them what the outcomes are so that they can identify with them. And now we need to hook emotionally into the problem so that we can be present with that together, right? So that is the next section. Third section is the promise. This is where we introduce the transformation or the result that your offer delivers, where we explain the what of your offer, not all the details yet, and where we paint a picture of what life looks like once the problem is solved. So let's take a quick look at the prompt for this one. Here we are painting a picture of transformation. We're going to ask it to write a sales page section that paints a picture of how the transformation my audience will experience after joining the name of my offer. Show them how life will feel different with their problem solved. So the resulting prompt that I have here is now imagine waking up rested, moving through your day with steady energy and ending it feeling proud of what your body can do. Imagine slipping into routines that actually work for your life, not rigid plans that add more stress. That's what the vital energy reset gives you, a clear path to rebuild strength, confidence, and sustainable energy designed for real moms with real lives. So again, you see how in our promise, we're not telling the stuff. I'm not telling her that we're meeting weekly on calls. It's not time for that yet, right? I'm not telling her that I've got pre-recorded videos. I'm not telling her that I'm going to show her what to eat. That is not where we are just yet, right? So that is where we are in this conversation with her is she has, just to kind of recap here, we've hooked her by telling her that we know what she's dealing with and we have a thing that's named what we've called it, and it's going to help her. And we're going to really prove to her that we know that this can help her because we're going to talk to her about her problems in her language. Then we're going to describe to her what life will look like when she says yes to this. And it's, and again, something that she identifies with and deeply desires. That's our promise. Okay. Then we need the proof. So our next section, because once we've led her up to this point, right, we said, here's this thing, and she goes, huh, that sounds interesting. The next thing that she asks herself is, well, is this for me? Right? Well, we go through and we show her in the problem by showing her that we actually know what we're talking about. We understand her problems. In the promise, we tell her what life can look like once those problems are solved using our methods. And here in the proof, we are going to be answering the next question. Well, oh, that sounds amazing, but how do I know this works? Right. So here we go. We show evidence that our promise is real. We include testimonials, stories, or data points, and we position ourselves as the guide that they can trust. Now, the prompt that I have provided for you is to write a sales page section with social proof for the named offer. I'm going to ask for a certain number of testimonials or stories that highlight real results. If I don't have testimonials, position my own experience and expertise as proof. So here again, you've got the opportunity to have AI support you in writing this. Now, what this came up with for me in this section where we're leading her now is I created this program after helping dozens of postpartum moms move from drained to energized after walking down that road myself. So here I'm actually leaning on my own lived experience. If that's something that you're able to do, of course you should do that. But that's not necessarily the case for everyone's expertise. We are going to, though, include some anecdotes from our clients. So we'll say one mom told me for the first time since my daughter was born, I feel like myself again. Another said, I finally have the tools to take care of my body without guilt or guesswork. These stories are what fuel this program, compassionate, realistic support that works in the middle of a busy mom life. And I've got three different testimonials here as well. Right. Because now we're at the point where she wants to know, yeah, but like, does it work? This all sounds really good, but how do I know it works? Now that we have given her the security of understanding that she is not the only one who has this problem, and certainly not the only one that we have helped or will help, we can now move into placing the offer before her to make the decision, right? This is actually where we make the pitch. So here's where we lay out exactly what she'll get when she purchases. We'll explain how it works, what's included, how it helps, and we'll use clear, simple language and structure. Now, the prompt that we have for this place in this, what are we, 8 sections? We're almost all the way through here. So here we're going to clearly explain what they get. We're going to write a clear description of everything included in the offer using short paragraphs and simple language, show how each element helps achieve the promised result. And remember, again, if you've got your program outline and write with AI, the work does itself. It saves so much time. All right, so if I get down here to the offer, here's what you'll get when you join. We've got our pricing. We're listing out live weekly calls, workout and meal planning library, private community, structured step-by-step system. Again, this is all based on what I have already provided it in terms of what this offer includes. And then I say here, this isn't one size fits all. It's a supportive reset tailored to your season of life so that you can feel strong and capable again. Again, retaining that theme throughout of what we're speaking to. And we open that up in the beginning with how she sees herself and how she wants to see herself in the language that we're using. Moving on to section 6, the objections, because at this point we've laid it all out for her. Now she's asking her, what about? Right? These are going to come up, and this is the place to address them. So this is where we go for the yeah, but questions, and we answer any concerns about things like cost, time, difficulty, risk, and we reinforce that this is something, this outcome is something that is possible for them. So here we are prompting by asking AI to write a sales page section that anticipates and answers the top objections that someone might have about joining or purchasing this offer that you have listed. You can use examples like cost, time, effectiveness, or difficulty, and keep the tone reassuring. Now, what I received, again, using that right with AI setup, I don't have time. That's exactly why this program is designed. I've tried before and failed. This isn't another rigid plan. It's too expensive. I say, think of this as an investment, right? So it's able to produce those for me. And you can get even more involved in those. Of course, you could ask for more. You could maybe address specific ones. And of course, if you have anything that's specifically guided by feedback that you've received previously, you're going to want to include that in your copy for that part of the page. Now, section 7 is the call to action. This is where we tell them exactly what to do next. We keep the language clear and action oriented and remind them of the outcome again and why now matters. Because now we've visited their objections and answered them. Now we need to bring the focus back to the matter at hand, which is, don't you want this outcome? If you take this action, you'll be able to get it. Now, what we prompt for here is to write a direct, clear call to action for this offer, to use action-oriented language and to remind them of the result that they want, and then to provide 3 variations to test, right? Because I want to actually see, just like I asked for 3 options at the open here, we're getting really close to, the place on the page, or this is the place on the page. If they didn't convert where we listed everything out, this is where we have another opportunity to convince and close. So I do like the idea of getting multiple iterations of that for this particular stage of the sales conversation. So here we say you don't have to push through one more day of low energy and frustration. Click below to join the Vital Energy Reset and start reclaiming your spark today. I liked that one, so I kept it. You obviously can work through several iterations of this. All right, and the final section here is the close. This is where we repeat the strongest proof and promise. We end with a final call to action, and we invite them to step forward with confidence. And the prompt that is provided for you to use, again, provided you have set up with your right with AI, is to ask AI to write a final section for a sales page that repeats the strongest proof and promise for this offer and end with an encouraging, confident invitation to join now. Now, what I have generated, and of course, this completes the copy that we have and what we will be taking over to build a page. You've given so much of yourself in these first years of motherhood. Now it's time to give something back to your body, your energy, and your confidence. The Vital Energy Reset has helped other moms like you feel rested, capable, and strong again. Now it's your turn. Join today and take the first step toward feeling like yourself again. All right. So once you have followed all of the prompts and you have collected all of the copy that you know you want to use on your sales page, now we can go over to AttractWell and start building. And the good news is that everything that you have written is what you need to say, and everything will be built around what you need to say, right? That's right, Denny. It's literally one more thing you don't have to do outside of AttractWell. You really can do everything here. All right, so if we go over to the website and blog menu to pages, I'm actually going to use one of our built-in templates. So I'm going to click add, and I'm going to look for sales page. And we've got a few different ones available here to choose from. Perhaps I will choose this one. Why not? Actually, I think I want one that's just a little bit simpler. I think this one's a bit simpler, but this one has a countdown timer, which is great. This would be, oh no, it's the same one, just with a countdown timer. Okay, I'm gonna go with one without one. That is actually a little simpler, but you can use the one with the countdown timer if you would prefer. Okay, so what we can do up here with the contrasting color background, you may or may not choose to have a call out here at the top. Essentially, what this would be is, hey mom, tired of being tired, right? Or something like that. You could ask AI to come up with something like this for you here. For now, I'm just going to hide this because I didn't plan for this section. So I'll leave it for now and see if it makes sense for me to come back to it later. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab my copy from my other page that I have over here on the side, my pages document. I'm going to click copy there. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to edit what's here. So what I'm going to do here is just use the paste plain text feature, which if you click more text, there is a paste plain text option here. We could just paste into here, and let me go ahead and delete this headline, subhead, and opening lines here so that they're all here and ready to go. Once I've got that done, I can paste it right in, and then I can start playing around with the formatting. So here is this one. I can paste that in there. I can give some space here. I'm going to center this one and I will make this just a little bit. So this is a heading one. I want to make this a heading, but not as big as heading one. So maybe heading three or four. Four. I like that better. So let's see how that looks. Not bad. I'm going to, because I really want it to be very easy for someone to view and take in the information, I'm going to lean on the side of creating space so you can see how motherhood changes everything, including how you feel in your own body. I don't want that, the space of that with the eyes to compete with the next sentence. So I'm going to keep that there. I also like the idea of all of this being centered. So let me go ahead and do that here as well. And I'm going to bold this. Oop, I'm going to bold this text. I'm going to italicize this text and on from there, right? So you can again play around with this to your liking. This one has a bit more space on the bottom than I prefer. So let me delete some of that extraneous space. And there we go. We can go ahead and have a quick look at how it looks on mobile. Not bad. And of course, checking these other size devices as well, just to make sure that we like how that looks. And then we move on from there. Now, this isn't built for the setup that I've provided for you here, but let's take a quick look and see what we could do with this section. So we need to call out the problem. It's not time to call out the what we're doing yet. So let's go ahead and move. Let me see if there's another section here that I might like to use. I'm just going to use a plain white section, white background section, because there's a lot of white background on this page. So I'm going to add section here. And this is going to be, I'm going to use a two column because I think I would like to include some photos here. I'm going to go ahead and add some spacing or some padding to the background just to give some breathing room in between these spaces. And of course, for a program for mothers, I would be changing the images on this page, but I don't want you to start with that, right? What I want you to do is to get all of your copy into the page, and then you can go in and decide what your supporting visual elements are going to be. So grabbing my copy here, I know that I'm probably going to create two of these sections. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the link there. I'm going to delete the header, subheader stuff here so that I can just start with the text that's here. I'm going to use my paste plain text and start with the first point that I want to make. And this seems to want to retain the formatting that was here previously, which is technically okay. I think I just want this to be, I don't want that uh, bold font weight there or the 36-point font. So I can just go in and I can highlight all of this. I can bold and unbold it, or if it's showing up in the code as that is, I'm just going to remove that. Yeah, I like that better. And then we can take this and shrink it down a bit because that is just a little bit too big. I'll take that down to 26. I will create some space here and here as well. And I'm going to definitely bold or italicize this last bit here because again, we're really trying to appeal to who she is, who she wants to be, who she sees herself as being. And there are images that I could include and introduce, but regardless, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this section. And again, I'm in section 2 here. I'm copying the next part of this, and I am going to paste plain text here and get that back up. What was that? 26. And again, create some space, one line of copy, and then a break. And that's going to give, again, the eye the opportunity to really take in the information. As you're going, make sure that you are liking the way that things are flowing and setting up. Again, you'll come back and do things like adding animations to these sections, changing out the photos, maybe swapping the order of text to photo, adding backgrounds and the like. I wouldn't fool around with that until you've got everything on the page. Thank you, Yulia. That's very nice. All right, so now we get to the promise. This is definitely going to be a place where I recommend utilizing imagery that is really evocative of what they want. I actually think that this section would be great for the promise. Make sure that the background image is one that would resonate with your person. I think that like images of nature, perhaps, or something that is aspirational could work really well here. So I'm going to go here. I'm just going to go ahead and change all of the font down to something. See if I can do that here. Maybe I just need to like delete and or go in and edit the code. There we go. Um, this will all be normal. Great. So now I'm going to paste plain text and I'm going to center this. I'm going to add more space. And I think I'm actually going to play around a little bit here with how this is set up. Here, I'm going to say, now imagine, and I'm going to make this heading. And we could utilize animation here again as you're actually doing the design part of the page, just to really cause her to pause and take in each line that's being shared, right? So if we come down here and we make it to this space, obviously I would animate these. And I would be animating this as well, right? So one line at a time is maybe animating in. All right, so we are getting close to the midway point here, but you guys are seeing where I'm going with this, right? The whole goal here is for you to, and I'm going to delete some sections that I know that I'm not going to use. The whole goal here is for you to get everything that you need into here as it needs to be laid out and ensuring as you go that it's legible, right? That people can get in here on any device and they can read it easily. There's nothing that's too chunky in terms of volumes of text to take in, that you've got that space there between sections so that nothing feels too crowded, right? You can see that there's a nice, again, a nice amount of space here. Is it interesting yet? No, that's fine. We'll get there. But again, you'll see where we'll have those opportunities to engage with some animation. And then as you're ready, you can then go in and start making those changes. Now, for the sake of time, and this really is something that you can get done in pretty short order. I do want to move over to like once you have all of this done, I want to move into showing you how you would make those design modifications because obviously I want you to be able to complete your sales page. I am just a few sections in, and I know that this would take just a bit longer. But what I would do is once you've got all of your copy in the page that you know you want to use, it's time to go in and start making those design decisions. And I would start again by taking a look at how the page moves and breathes as it is, right? What can we put here that is more supportive of the points that we're making? Because now it's no longer about it being slick. It's about supporting the words that are doing the work, right? So what we want to do next is, of course, maybe address these images. This very sort of urban uh, you know, upward looking photo here is 100% not what a brand new mom is going to be resonating with. Um, and we could do quite a bit with the different images that are being used here. So let's go and go into our background editor or section editor here, hit the pencil, and we can come right over here to background image and go to change background image. I'm going to add a design from Canva, and the one that I'm going to use is called blog banner. That's the Canva design type. It's a nice large image, high resolution image that you can use. You could also use a video background if you wanted. Those are really slick and cool looking. But for the purpose of this, this is about a mom of a new baby that is wanting to reclaim her spark for herself, right? She's probably looking for some peace in her life. And I know my person, she needs something that's feeling a little zen. So I'm going to type in zen. I'm going to go to photos and I'm going to see if there is anything that speaks to her or that would as a background image. Again, this is going to highlight the text. This is not making the point. So a lot of these really center images and designs in ways that really aren't conducive to what we're doing, right? Like they could get too crowded, too loud. So I think what I might do is actually go with one of these sort of Zen garden images. And we'll see. I think this is if this is a Canva premium image, it might give me an issue exporting. I would just go set image as background, but let's go see if it'll let us do it. I think it will. I think this is not a premium image in Canva. But if you have Canva Pro and it's a pro image, then all you got to do is just add like an invisible thing to the background of the document itself, and then you're able to save it. They just don't want you taking their images and using them for images only. There we go. So I like that, and it does have a parallax background. So let's just have a quick look and see if we like how it plays. Yes, I do. I do. And I like how it starts with that sand as well. That's great. Also addressing this section here, let's go into our element style editor. And we can actually go in and select individual lines, right? So I can actually go and say if I want this to animate, I want it to fade in from the left. I'm going to fade in left after zero point 0.1 seconds. I'll have this one fa also fade in left. And I will have that delay maybe zero point 0.3 seconds. Let's go take a look at that and see how that goes. I like that. I think I might delay it even more. So let me grab that one. I'm going to have that one delay maybe zero point 0.4. I'll select that one and I'll delay that one maybe zero point 0.7. And let's see if we like that. So cool. All right. Yeah. So you can, again, test this, see how you like it, see how it works from the different devices. See? Super cool. And then, yeah, you can keep moving on from there. We're talking about the first 2 years being a blur, sleepless nights, constant demands. It's easy to lose touch with how strong, capable, and confident you really are. So this really is an opportunity to show an image of struggle. Obviously, you could be super cliche about this, so be careful. We're going to click the Canva button. This is a let's see, this is a logo image, which is 500 by 500. I'm going to go custom here, and I want to maybe do like a 300 wide by maybe like a 700 high. I want something that's kind of tall, and so I can see how that might work in that section. Oh, maybe not 700. Let's do 300 by 6. That's way too skinny. We'll go replace. I'm not a designer, you guys. That's how you know you can do this. If I can do it, you can. There we go. 3 by 6, that's fine. I'm going to go to elements here and I'm going to put maybe tired mom and go to photos. And if a lot of them are going to be oriented to this wide view, so I could go up here to filters and see if there are any vertically oriented ones that I could use. Yes. Um, some of them are going to be a bit more goofy and a little too on the nose. So I would maybe stick to things that are evocative. Again, this one's really sweet. I could pop that one in right there. Maybe add, oh, see, this is what I was talking about. This is a premium image. So I'm going to detach this from the background. And what I'm going to do, this is your hack, because I don't really want other stuff in this design that I'm exporting that's visible. So I'm just going to take the shape. I'm going to layer this top image to the front, and then I'm just going to drag to place it where it needs to go. And now I have what I wanted, and Canva will let me export it because there's more than one element in the file that we're exporting. All right, so once I've got that there, I love it. So now I've got the opportunity here. If I take a look at this on the different devices, obviously this is going to be a little bit different on mobile um, versus tablet or desktop. But here we could even play around with more space vertically on the desktop view. But let's take a quick look at this and just make sure that this is vibing right on mobile. All right, so you see how it's orienting to the left? If I want to make sure that this works on all devices, let's go ahead over here. I'm going to edit the content and I am going to center this. And now when I go take a look at it, there we go. That's pretty. I like that. So that works well on mobile. It's working okay enough on desktop. I might add a bit more space to the top of this and certainly consider animating the image in, etc. Right? So we're going to continue with this process until it looks how you like it. And then you want to make sure that wherever you're making your call to action in your sections, that you actually go with the content editor and make sure that your lead button is set up correctly. Now you have two different options here. You can have a section, say at the very bottom of this page, where the form displays on page and they can enter their payment information here on the page itself. Option two is going to be for a pop-up. And what that would mean is if we go here and I'll show you, we get to that section and we click, it's going to give us a pop-up where you'll see the payment option, right? So there is no wrong answer here. It really is a matter of preference. But in your settings, you're going to be choosing under the Leads tab whether or not the form shows on the page or in a pop-up. Now, if we are going to show this on the page, you do need to make sure that where you are taking payment, and I'll come down here. And this is a very long sales page with lots of different sections that you might find useful. Just so you know, you're not going to necessarily use all of them. I certainly am not here today. But if you wanted to grab a testimonial section, etc., you've got a lot to work with here with sort of interesting pre-formatted options. But basically, all we need to do here is I'm going to delete what's here, and I'm going to click this add button and type and click form. Okay, so form is on the page. Great. So if I go to view this, when I click lead, it should jump me down. There we go. Yeah, it would jump me down to the bottom of the page where the form lives. So if you're doing the on-page option, make sure that you have hashtag lead in the button. That will take you to the lead form. And that you have, again, let me go back down here to the bottom. Forgive me, it's going to move really fast. Um, Down here on the bottom, make sure you have a section that has form in it, like we have right here. If you are not going to have it embedded on the page, then also make sure you have hashtag lead in all of your call to action buttons and that in settings, you are using the lead capture form in a pop-up. Now, from here, you are going to be setting up payments. This particular account does not have payments enabled, but what you'll do is you'll check to offer payment on the page. You'll select Stripe as your payment processor, and then you'll be able to set up the payment options. Make sure that all of those are outlined. If you have more than one, make sure you have them clearly spelled out on the page itself. If you're using an on-page form, it's definitely beneficial to have those things reiterated there in a section near to the form so that it publishes nearby and that they're able to make those comparisons when they are sort of evaluating what's there. And then yeah, once you are good to go, make sure that you save it, you view it, you test it, and of course, as you're going through the process of making these modifications, make sure that you are kind of viewing them on the different devices to make sure that they are fully viewable and look good and are moving and behaving the way that you want them to. So with that, I want to open the floor for any questions. I know we didn't have anyone scheduled for a live work review today, so we went a little longer than we normally would in the demo. But if there's something that you guys would like to view together, then happy to look over that with you. If you want any, sort of guidance on modifications, we're certainly happy to help you with that here today as well. So do let me know. And oh, by the way, if you are someone who is maybe just getting into your content creation for your brand, we're going to be hosting a quarterly content creation workshop next week with the goal of having everything in place for you to be able to get all of your Q4 content done here within the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we're not getting all of it done on one call, but you will be prepared from that call to actually set aside and schedule a couple of blocks, maybe an afternoon here or there, to get all of your content knocked out for Q4. So definitely make sure that you join us next week if that's something that's interesting to you. I'd like to repeat those on a quarterly basis just to kind of keep you oriented with the tools of getting into that content creation. It is something that a lot of us overlook because it doesn't really provide us often the immediate outcomes that we're looking for. So we shelve it. But if we can get that in place, that can be getting you leads and building your credibility now for the business that you want in the future. Ooh, I love it. Awesome. Great. You're about to go create a sales page for a book. That's great. I love it. I think something to note here as well, as you're considering setting something like this up, the length of your sales page and the detail that you go into should vary based on the financial commitment for your offer. So if this is a large, like a high ticket commitment, then it would behoove you to have more details on page, perhaps a video. If it is something like a book, I think that you can keep this a bit more brief. What we outlined here today will work just fine. It can be a lot for a book, but depending on what the book is and how you're building your list, I think it's still a great set of steps to follow. Fantastic. Well, if we don't have any questions, we're going to get going and look forward to seeing you guys back here next week where we get into our Q4 content. Hope you guys have a fantastic week. And yeah, we'll see you next time.